Oy, oy, oy. What a topic. What is the self? Scaligram. That's one of my favorite topics. What is the self? You raise a couple of interesting issues, a couple of interesting points. Now, I hope you'll excuse me right now. I'm a little bit under the influence of alcohol. I am drinking a little bit, but you can just consider that the self in an altered state, under the influence, if you will. Because all the time, we're always under some sort of influence one way or another. We're under the influence of others or under the influence of nature. Alcohol is a product of nature, and so are many other things that we encounter in our existence. Whether it be running for our lives from predation or chasing after, as a predator, something to sustain our own existence. But what is the self? Is it our memories? Is it our basic fundamental outlook on things? I admit, you're right, we do change over time, and I think that what we have become, what I am now, is a result of all those instances of different exchanges and experiences that I've had over time in the past. Some of the, like you said, what I was back then is not what I am now. But I think that a lot of what I was back then and the experiences that I have had have contributed to what I am now. The things that I do now I would not do with the same sort of relish or regard as I did back then. Back then I might pick up an ant and squish it. Now I would not be able to do such a thing with such ease without regarding it. Even back then, I did have a tendency to wonder about its consciousness, but I'm definitely in a different stage now than I was back then. When it comes down to the thing you were talking about in terms of time travel, well, I don't buy the idea of time travel. As you say, nature has a way of safeguarding itself. It doesn't have any of the dilemmas that we pose. Much of the dilemmas that we pose are very speculative at best. Nature knows better. And I don't mean to say that nature has a consciousness. I don't regard it that way. We are a product of nature. We have a consciousness. That is a little different. I don't think nature regards things. What is the self? I think there is some fundamental underlying predisposition. As you say, you go back to something you said before and you've forgotten about it and you even disagree with it. Is it necessarily fundamental to your being? Is it what makes you you? Are those things that you disagree with, fundamental to what makes you you? Interesting point. I'm going to leave it at that for now. That's the curiosity I have right now. I understand that people are vastly different. Some people's chemical, biological makeup are different from other people's chemical, biological makeup, and that sometimes our focuses are not always the same, and sometimes it's difficult for people to accept that aspect of being a living thing. I've been so fascinated by consciousness these days, and I'm not just talking about human consciousness, I'm talking about living consciousness, whether it be dog, cat, horse, dolphin, gorilla, any number of these things that have these properties and capabilities. It just fascinates me. Even as a child, I used to look down at the ant hill and wonder about all the ants and people who would observe them and make determinations about what they are doing. And I'd wonder how they could make those determinations about what those creatures were doing when they couldn't get into their minds. Maybe that all sounds silly to you, I don't know. Maybe it's just a drunken rant. I have that excuse to fall back on. It's always easy to back out in beer. I'd be curious though. Thanks, Galligan. I love the topic. Until next time.